It's a great honor and a privilege to introduce Avraham Hoffman. We're here in your wonderful apartment in Kiryat Moshe in Jerusalem. And Avraham, you were born in Berlin in Germany before the war. But if you could explain a little bit about your family and the roots of your family.
Okay. I was born in 5 May 38 in Berlin. It was a great phenomena in the Jewish community that children, a new child came to the world, because Jews in the bad situation, only few people bring children to the world. And my father that came from Budapest to Vienna, and there he learned, he makes there his doctorate, and he came to Berlin to make what we call the postdoctorate in Berlin in philosophy. And in this situation, he and some young fellows, students, come to the leaders of the Jewish community, with Professor Warburg, and that was the head of the Zionist movement in the whole world, and they built a group that work bringing the books from collecting the books from the Jewish people in Berlin and sending them to Israel. And this was one of the best basic of the national bibliothèque.
It's the library, the National Library.
Library of Israel in Har HaTzofim in Jerusalem. Now they built a new building near the Knesset.
Yeah.
And so they collect more than 100,000 books and send them to Israel, to Eretz Israel. It was before
it was under British,
before the state of Israel. And what was the main idea? The Jews in Germany also were very rich. I think it was not in the whole history such rich people like the Jews of Germany, and also if they were unreligious and they don't know one word in Hebrew, but they have to in the house the best, the oldest Talmud that was in the world. They love Jewish books, and they have very, very important books that no one has in the world, because it was from them. This was perhaps the only connection from them with Judaism, that they know. My father has Jewish books, my grandfather has, and I go in this system. And now these people have to run away from Germany. But you know, if you want to
sell, if you want
to sell books, it takes time. You can in 5 minutes sell, but books is a very, very long time work. So my father came to them and said to them, now you have not any possibility to make a real sale of these books, but these books you have feeling to these books. You have a more nafshi, how you say?
It's like a connection. You have
Yes,
a personal connection.
you have a deep connection with these books. Then perhaps instead of selling these books with little money, give me the books and give me the money, and we send it to Israel. So they give the books and they give the money to send it to Eretz Israel.
And this was under the British Palestine. It was Mandate Palestine.
Yes. Yes.
Before 40. Well, obviously it was.
Yes, of course. It's 33.
33.
And so they collect many books, and then also they collect ornaments, ancient Sukkot from before 500 years and so on, and bring them to Museum Bezalel, that now is Museum Israel. And this was the work that my father do. My mother was from a family what we call Ostjuden. Also, she was born in Berlin, but her father and mother came from east, from Galicia. From my grandfather came from Colomea. And also my grandmother came from, I think, near Chernovitz, and they were from a very, very important Hasidic family, from Rabbi Uri Mistrelisk and Rabbi Yehuda Tzvi Mistretin. Who knows Hasidut and knows about them. And they came to Berlin, and my grandfather, in the Third World War, many Jews thought that if they will be the good soldiers of the Kaiser, then the situation of the Jews will be changed to good, and he fall in Italy in the Second World War.
The First World War.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my mother was a young. She was, I think, a young girl when she heard about her father's fall in the war.
The
Yes.
First World War.
Yeah. And she received a little gluya, how you say gluya?
Like a postcard.
And there was written, your father is, to the mother, is fallen in such, and she thought, child, what can think? His father fall, okay. She don't understand in the first minute, but when she bring it to her mother, then her mother cry, and her mother was a Hasidic woman, and she has not a profession. And you understand, so my mother in very, very young
young age,
in a very young age, began to work, and she came to a high position in the Zionic organization as a secretary. And so my father and my mother meet in Berlin.
Here's a picture of your parents.
Yes.
And do you know how old your parents were when they met?
Yes, I think they were above 30.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, my father was born in 903 and my mother at 907. And so when I was born, it was a great phenomenon, as I say, in Berlin. And then my father sent me and my mother after 1 month to Budapest, to his mother, because there it was in this time Budapest was a safe place. You know, the Germans enter Hungary.
It's very late in the 40s.
Only in
44.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in 38 it was, and only when he was the last man in the organization that sent the books and so on, then my father flew through Prague to Budapest and take us from Budapest to Zagreb in Yugoslavia. And from Zagreb we go to Trieste, to Italy, and then from there we came to Eretz Israel. At Tzom Gedalia, at Rosh Hashanah, the ship came in Rosh Hashanah, but you know, according to the din, you cannot go down from a ship to the earth, and then we go down in Gimel B'Tishrei, that is Tzom Gedalia. So every year I think Tzom Gedalia is for me from one side, Tzom Gedalia, and from the other side, fast.
And how old were you when you came to Eretz Israel?
5 months. 5 months. I was born in May and we came in September.
Only 5 months old. Wow. And
הוא פשוט היה, הוא מקליט אותי, אז היה רעש.
Sorry. And can I ask, Avram...
רגע, 1 minute.
So, Avram, this is a picture of your father in Berlin.
In the keller.
In the cellar where they had...
Yes, what was I will explain you so you understand. It was not according to the law. Then what they make, the underground, he have from his apartment, there was a sulam, how you say sulam? A ladder, and this go down to a keller. And in the keller,
it's a cellar.
In the cellar, they make they collect the books and make them in, you see, in argazim, how you say argazim?
Like they put them in boxes.
To send them to Eretz Israel.
And you have on the back, what was the name of the organization?
The name of the organization was Gesellschaft der Freunde der Hebräische Universität und Bibliothek Jerusalem.
Wow.
In English, Society of the Friends of the Hebrew University and the Bibliothek, how you say Sifriya?
It's a library.
Library. And the library in Jerusalem.
In Jerusalem, wow. Because the truth is that in Kristallnacht they started burning the books.
Yes, of course.
So this was done.
Crystal was in November, and we fled up from Germany at February, I think, January, February. So it was some months before.
A few months before. And you have also letters from the that was written to your father from the...
Yes, here Professor Bergman or Doctor, this I don't know who is this. Doctor Ig, Director des Bot Institute Hebrew University. This I don't know who is.
But by your father organizing the rescue of the books, so many of these treasures were saved. And now it's available for everyone. These books would have been burnt or destroyed, totally destroyed, if your father wouldn't have done this very... And it was secretive, and in Berlin. It's incredible.
Okay. Then if you can, in your words, describe what I explain you, how it was the letter that came from his apartment to the keller, and from this keller they sent the things.
So we'll just show the picture again, which is incredible. And I mean, what your father did was totally illegal, because if the Nazis would have seen, they would have... It was very dangerous work that your father did.
Yes, of course.
But it's amazing that they managed to send it out to Haifa in 33, 34.
Yes. Then if you can make this, you can see Haifa also. Yeah. You see Haifa?
You do see Haifa, yeah.
Okay.
And then, it says Haifa on it, and there's your father. And Avram, can I ask, did your parents speak to you about their life in Berlin? Did they speak to you about what the life was in Berlin when they got married, and how... Did they ever speak to you about how it was living in Germany?
No. You know, in this time, the main problem was how to build Eretz Israel.
Okay.
And this was the main subject.
But did they ever discuss with you or reminisce the time in Germany? And
but what I give you was in 48.
I know, but when you came here when you came...
when we came to Jerusalem...
once you arrived in Israel...
Yes.
Well, it was under the British mandate. It was still under the British.
Yes.
Where did your family go to?
To Jerusalem.
Straight to Jerusalem.
Yes, and we live in one house in Ovadia 16 in Kerem Avraham.
And you grew up in...
and when I married in 59, then in September 59, then from then 61 years we are in this.
Wow, in Kiryat Moshe.
Yes.
And what did your father do when he came to Israel?
He opened a library in Yeshurun. Above the synagogue was a library.
And that's in Rehov Melech George.
Yes.
In King George Street.
Yes.
And what happened to the library?
After my father died, he died very young, 56. He was. This I make a drashot.
Avram, so this is a letter that was from Professor Bergman.
Professor Hugo Bergman, that was the Director General of the National Library in Har HaTzofim.
Mount Scopus.
That was written to my father.
And it was in 1934?
Yes.
1934, wow. And Avram, let me...
You take it?
Yes, and I can ask you, Avram, your family that were in Hungary,
yes,
did they survive the war, the rest of the family?
Yes, because also my father's brother came to Israel, Dr. He changed his name from Hoffman to Bar Tikva. Hope, Bar Tikva. And he has a sister. She don't tell me. She was 92 when she died, but she don't tell me why she lived in Hungary. Because women's it was more have a better chance to survive than men.
Mm-hmm.
Because you cannot say this is a Jew, or it's not to recognize exactly.
And she remained in Hungary?
Yes, and she was a professor of music. She was a great musician.
In Budapest?
In Budapest, yes.
And she married and...
Yes.
And she remained religious or Jewish?
No, she was not religious.
But she remained
The
Jewish.
only thing that she was religious, but she take 10 religious people from the synagogue to the Yortzeit.
Wow.
To come to the graves of the family to say Kaddish. She was religious.
And you had a connection with her?
Yes.
Your family had a connection?
Yes. She was in Israel also. She came.
Wonderful.
Yes. But the communists don't give her the chance to give. She has a great psanter.
A piano.
But I don't know. I don't understand in this. But it was something very, very. And when she want to come to Eretz Israel, the communists don't give the
permission.
The permission, and then because she was a musician.
Wow. And Avram, can I just ask you, you lived through tremendous times. You lived through very, very amazing times. You lived through the Shoah, and you lived through the rebirth of the State of Israel and the siege of Yerushalayim. When it became apparent what was happening in Europe, when the news of the camps became known, how did your parents react? Did they discuss it, or?
This was a time that people don't speak before children about problems. This was another psychology than we have to now.
Mm-hmm.
Now the world is open. Then all things that were catastrophic or so were, and we cannot speak before children.
They didn't want to traumatize the children.
Yes. And the fight about Jerusalem was so crowded. So you cannot speak about problems that you have in Europe when your life here were problematic.
You must remember. I'm sure you remember. It was difficult times. There were food rations.
We have not eaten. I have 2 sisters, and I eat only half what I have to eat to give them because they were little children.
There was major food shortage.
Yes, I was 10 years, and I work in building למלא שקי חול, שק, how you say שק? I don't שק. To שקי חול, how you say?
It was like sandbags. You were making sandbags, like for bunkers and...
Yes.
Yeah, sandbags. Sure.
Yes.
Because trenches, like they built trenches and sandbags.
Yes. Then you want to take...
And then your father was instrumental in building the Burma Road.
Yes, yeah.
So this is a picture of your father.
Here.
And he was one of those that helped build the Burma Road, that helped when you had the siege of Jerusalem.
All these people were not people that work in building. He was a philosopher.
And there were, I'm sure, survivors as well.
Yeah.
People that survived from the camps that came and...
Yes. Then you make it. You take it.
And Avram,
you take it. So I can give it.
Do you remember the siege?
And here is the Yeshurun.
That's when your father was in Yeshurun.
Yes.
Gee, that's the library that he established. Wow. And you've got at the bottom, there's also a picture of Rivlin's father.
Yes, yeah, Professor Rivlin.
Sure.
Yosef Yoel Rivlin and Professor Weil. They were in the directory of because in a public place.
And did your father, was he associated with the Hebrew University? Did he give lectures in the Hebrew University?
No. He works in he takes people that were from poor houses, and they don't understand also in books, and so then he takes them, he make a place, and then he teaches them also how to understand things. And one day a student come to me, my doctorate, I have to give your father, your late father, because my father was not in life, because I come from a poor family that no one can help me, only because your father helped me, I came to learn and so on.
And Avram, what did your mother do when you came to
she only at home.
She was at home.
עקרת בית.
And you had sisters, you had siblings?
Yes.
Wow. And do you remember the siege of Jerusalem, and do you remember the war of, you must remember the war of, you were young, but you remember the war of independence?
Yes. We only, all children help, and we also fight against the British people. When the British soldiers were here, we were little children, and we thought that we can change the situation, and we make on the streets little places that they cannot come with their buses, and we write the מדינה עברית, עלייה חופשית, בוז הספר הלבן, יחיד דגלנו כחול לבן. This was children, when we thought, when we were 8, 7, 9 years, we thought that in this we can fight against the British soldiers.
You know, I remember it was very sad that with the white paper, it prevented Jews from coming to...
the British people, and now I write a book about Rothschild. If you know British history, in 1815, 1815, Wellington, General Wellington, fight against Napoleon, and in Waterloo, yes, and he was in a very bad situation. And who helps him?
It was Rothschild.
Rothschild.
Yeah.
The Jews, and this was their
reward.
The reward to the Jews.
Not only the Balfour Declaration, they promised the Jewish homeland.
Yes, but Bevin and all the Italy and all these people, bad people, English people, they don't open the gates. And they bring all the Arabs that the Palestinians, they came from, the British take people from Syria and bring them here because they were not, they don't love what Balfour write. Yeah. Because according to Balfour, we have
it's a Jewish homeland, they promised the Jewish homeland.
Yes. But then they bring many Arabs from Syria and Lebanon and from Jordan. So all these Palestinians that tell you that they are here 100 years, it's a bluff.
Yeah. But what was also said...
and Jews, they
closed the border.
They closed
and they were trapped in Europe and many died.
The mother of my father, she came, she was 60, I think, and they make her, when she came, it's ma'apila.
But it was like illegal, they came illegal.
And they put her in a prison in Atlit.
Yeah, and then sometimes they sent to Cyprus.
Yes.
Even
yes,
after
no,
the war.
she is after 1 month again. It's dangerous to the British Empire.
And Avraham, did your parents ever go back to Germany? Did they ever visit?
No. I also go only because I have a task to do. So I don't go to Germany for my as a tourist.
Wow. And can I just ask, you must have remembered when the state was declared in May 48 in Yom Ha'atzmaut.
Yes.
It must have been an incredible moment in one's life.
Yes, it was in 29 November 47. Then my father waked me. It was a great thing, and then we ran to dancing. And then in 48, when it was in Friday, when the government, Ben Gurion gives the declaration of the Jewish state.
That was when your father woke you up. That was when the United Nations, when they had the vote and they declared.
No, 29 was the United
Nations, yeah.
14 May was Friday.
When Ben Gurion declared.
When Ben Gurion declared, yes. And then I ran to bring bread, a half bread. איך אומרים כיכר in English?
It's like a loaf, a square, half a square, a loaf of bread.
A loaf of bread from a friend of us. And I go to bring I was 10 years old. And then I see all the people go to, then I go also where all the people go. And here in the radio that that Ben Gurion say,
wow,
we built Israel, yes.
And it must give you so much, you must appreciate so much, because you saw it when we never had a country, when we never had a place to go. It was
but we were, when I see what happened now, what is the change between we were in a bad situation and were believers in a good situation, and now we see we are in a very, very good situation. Also with all our economy is one of the best in the world. And you hear the radio and the television, and
a lot of negative.
All is negative in all. They want to destroy the soul of the people.
It's very sad.
Yes.
But Avraham, on a happier note, you wrote 2 books that you in memory of your parents.
Yes.
If you could show 5 years, it's beautiful what you did.
Yes, and you want to.
Yes. So this your grandchildren. They did the graphics.
Yes.
And this one was dedicated to your mother.
Yes.
Alav Shalom.
Yes.
If you could show the picture of your mother.
Then at first this, or at first
the picture of your mother. It's very beautiful. And it's dedicated in her memory.
Yeah.
Wow. Very special. And then you did one for your father as well.
And this you own?
I've done.
And after, okay. Because her name was Rosa, then I call Razei Semachot.
Oh, it's wonderful. Gee.
And my father was Zerach, then I call it Zricha Shel Shacharit.
Your father was Zerach?
Yes, then I call it Zricha Shel Shacharit.
Wow. That's very special, sure. Wow. That's amazing. Did your father have a kesher with Zerach Vahaftig?
No, but Zerach Vahaftig, I know him. He was my teacher also, and we pray in the same synagogue, Hapoel HaMizrahi.
It's amazing, sure. Wow, Avram, thank you very much.
You take it?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you make this.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Avram, do you remember, you must remember all the leaders. You
Yes.
grew up with all...
I was the assistant of Dr. Joseph Burg.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, you were the assistant
Yes. I was his spokesman.
for Dr. Berg.
Yes. You know him?
Sure, he was the minister of posts for
Yes.
many years, and the religious minister.
He was the social. When I was a social. Huh?
We can put down, thanks, that's wonderful.
And
Thank
this-
you. We've got wonderful.
You take, okay.
And so you were, when you finished school, what did you do after you finished school?
I go to the army.
And then how did you become involved with Dr. Berg, with Joseph Berg?
How it's before this, when I came from the army, then was the fight about the religious schools. Also the school here I built. And I fight against the left that wants that all the children will go only to unreligious schools. And so I was famous in this fighting, and I have a great success. And then I also, because I need money, then I wrote articles, and I wrote an article and say the seminars in Israel, in Hebrew I say, call it le'an. What is their future of the seminars? And I make a very critic article about the seminars that teach morim, teachers, yes. And then Dr. Goldschmidt was the head of the religious education, called me. And all people say me, he will destroy you, that you make such a great article against the seminars. But he received me with very polite, and said me, you understand why I call you? Then I said, of course, and I was in a feeling to fight, to show that what I wrote is very good and real. And he said me, you know, 3 people, I give them the opportunity to change the situations of the seminars, and all failed. You wrote such an article, you wrote from tomorrow, I give you the possibility to build it. And I built there, in this time, 6 seminars. And this was so I saved the religious education, because they they have no teachers. And then I make a seminar למורים תורניים with רב נריה in כפר הרועה, and seminar למורי חקלאות וטבע. The first time that teachers learn how to teach דיני שמיטה. If you learn דיני שמיטה without understanding agriculture, then it doesn't work with the children.
The Shemitah year, for this, under every 7 years. When
yes, but to if you want the children can learn it, you need to give them the understanding of חקלאות, of agriculture.
Sure.
So in this seminar they learn חקלאות וטבע. And so they were the first teachers that know how to teach דיני שמיטה. Better than great rabbis, because rabbis know the din.
They know the laws.
But I don't know if they know the
agriculture.
The agriculture, and you need to a deeper understanding. Then I make a seminar for 2 seminars for מורה מלאכה. מלאכה, how you say, work.
For work, yeah.
Professional teachers. and there were not religious teachers that they know how to learn works.
And you organized the seminars?
Yes, 2 seminars. And then I make a great mivtza from the Oniya to the Midrasha. They came, many people from Morocco, that they were their teachers. But you know, there is a change. You cannot take the way of teaching in Morocco to Israel. And then I make in Jerusalem a seminar from them, and I take them from the ship, bring them to 1 year, learn how the modern system of Israel is. And so I make 1, 2, 3 seminars.
Amazing, that's incredible.
Yes.
And then how did you
then, because I was famous in doing from nothing things, then Dr. Burg, it was a situation, there were 300,000 Jews that received payment from social payment, because every Oleh Chadash they give payment, but many people change their situation and receive money that they needed more, don't need, and the others receive don't receive enough money, because if you give to 300,000, you have not for those 60 and 80,000 that need it, you have less money. Then Dr. Burg make an agreement with Pinchas Sapir, that was
he was the finance minister,
that all money that he cut from those that will not receive more payments don't go to the budget of Misrad HaOtzar, but they will come to help those. And then he called me and he said to me to make a great mivtza. How is a mivtza?
It's like it's special. It's something special.
Yes. The name was that I call it mitmicha leshikum, from being paid by.
It's a novel idea.
Yes, to shikum, to rehabilitation. Mm-hmm. So don't receive only money,
but to rehabilitate.
And this were not. This was social, not what I do after that. When I bring them from the prison to be workers, and it succeeded. And also then, you have to be brave. Mm-hmm. If I came to you and you 3-4 years receive money, also you need not, but I cut it from you, mm-hmm. You say, who is this man that cut me the money? And all the social workers were afraid, and then I go before them.
Oh, it's not a simple thing.
Yes. This God give me the opportunity not to be afraid. And so I was, I was in 48 in the war. In 56 I was a soldier in Sinai. In 67 I was here in the radar near Ma'ale HaChamisha.
Really?
And then in the Golan. And in 73 I was in Sinai, and I came through Suez, and till 101 kilometers from Cairo. And then I was in Lebanon war at 82. So I was a long time in Miluim. Today no one, 50 till 54 I was, and I have 5 children, and I go every, when Arab in Gaza shoot, and then at night they call me, come. And so I live from life.
Mm-hmm. To the full.
How you say לחיות?
To live.
Yes, I live the war.
Wow.
And okay, it was for my wife and my children not easy, because every time they call me. Also, I was a citizen like you.
And what rank did you have in the army?
Not so high. I was in the end Rasar.
You served so many different. And then you became involved with the rehabilitation of the prison services.
Yes. I see that we waste so great money on more prisons and more prisons. It's not nothing, and it's nothing worse, because after 1 year they are in prison, out of prison, they come back. They call it the revolving door. Yes. Yeah. Then I came to the idea that we can change this situation. And then I built with Dr. Burg, we make a law in the Knesset. The name was חוק הרשות לשיקום האסיר, the law of the prisoner rehabilitation authority, and I was the director general, and I built it. And as you can, if you have you have how you call it, מחשב.
It's a computer. It's on,
you have computer
it's on the
home.
internet. Sure.
Then you can see it. You can see in English. 34 lectures from me.
Wow.
In the whole world, also in Cape Town and in Johannes, wow. I think in Cape Town, Melbourne and Perth.
And this was the selected articles.
This is before years, yes, in 2002, but after that, this is from now.
And it must have given you a lot of satisfaction when you saw...
in Sukkot, all the prisoners
wow.
came to me, and there was a great thief in Tel Aviv, like Goliath.
A giant.
Yes. And he go to the closet, and when he came, I see he was very pale in his face. Then I asked him, what happened? My wife is a nurse. Perhaps you need a trufa.
Medicine.
Huh?
Medication.
They said, no, I was there and I sobbed. Then I asked him, why you sob? Then he said to me, the first time in my life that I was in a house and I thought thief.
Wow. Really?
So my system was not by this that I don't be afraid from them. They they respect me. If you are afraid from them, they kill you. This is the way of this. They think.
You gain their trust.
Yes. And I go, without guards in every place where there are thieves and robbers and what you do all you want. In Arabic villages, I go without problem. And
it was all prisoners, Jewish, Arab, Christian.
Yes. Why? And I think the greatest thing that I do was I make a hostel for the female offenders. there are not many, but they are in a very, very bad situation. There are harlots and so on. And all the criminologists, all the soldiers say, no, they cannot be rehabilitated. But I see in the Talmud it is written that if you have not enough money, you have a daughter and a son, then it is written, Habanot yizonu, you give them your money and so on, or your eating, Abanim yechazru al aptachim. So we have to prefer the saving of a woman. And I make a hostel, and where I make the hostel? In the richest district of Tel Aviv. Why? Because I say if they are in a very poor society, they will come back to their. So I have to change
the paradigm. It's a paradigm shift. It's
yes,
a whole...
yes, and it gives a good solution. So
amazing, Avram. And Avram, you were one of the very first here in Kiryat Moshe.
Yes.
When you came to this apartment,
all the people are afraid to live here, because in Givat Shaul, the people that came, the Arabs that came from Nebi Samuel, it was in 59, before 67, kill a couple of Jews in Givat Shaul. It's from here 300 meters, 400 meters. And all people were afraid to come to him. I came from the army, and I say, okay, if they want to come to kill me, I killed them before. Then this was, and after I came here, all people show, you see, here Avraham Hoffman lives here.
So you were the first, one of the first residents of modern Givat?
No, to this place, to this house.
To this house, wow.
And here were stones. When my first daughter was born, then I take like Hagba'ah of Sefer Torah above the stones, the Agala.
Wow.
Till there was a street. Yes.
It's amazing. And then
I built I make a fight against the municipality, and we make here a Bet Sefer Maimon, a religious school, and then we make Bnei Akiva here.
And Mekaz Arav, you have a long association with Mekaz Arav?
Also, I have connection with Merkaz Arav, and I make a great article in Atzofe. We have to build Merkaz Arav and make it from a little yeshiva to a great yeshiva.
And today it is a great yeshiva.
Yes.
It's a very great yeshiva.
Yes.
And Avram, I just have to ask you mentioned that you have a kesher with Rav Aaron Shari Yashuv.
Yes, not deep.
But you met him?
Yes, we help him. Yes, my wife. My wife make me more things than me.
But you knew him before. His father was a Nazi, and
yes.
he converted, and he came, and he was studying in Mekaz Arav, and
yes.
he did another Geirut.
Yes.
And you knew
when they make a chatuna,
a wedding. You remember his wedding?
Yes, they make here in Kiryat Moshe the wedding, and my wife, and not take on also other wives that help them to make the chatuna.
It's wonderful, because he later became. They wanted to make him the Rav Harashi of the army. But he was also with philosophy. He was a philosopher at Bar Ilan for 30 years.
Yes.
But he was a rabbi in the army, and then also he was professor of philosophy at Bar Ilan.
Yes.
And a most remarkable person. So Avram, you really have met some amazing people through.
Yes. Rav Tzvi Yehuda, every time when he need help in great political things, then he called me at night.
And with Rav Kook's family, you have a...
I have not so deep, but they know that if they need help, I like Mechabe Esh. You have a fire. Then many people, I help them, not because I need to help them, but in years you learn how to arrange things. We have not here a street. Then I take Teddy Kollek here and I say to him, this is your town. In the morning he bring bulldozer and all the stones they take away.
And they made this vow.
Yes.
It's amazing.
When Teddy Kollek, one day I go out of what's the name? It was a place of a theater and so on, and I go in the steps down, and once give me a hand. Then I see Teddy Kollek. Then he said, all my friends ask why I help you more than others. Then he said to me, I was also a prisoner.
Wow.
When he bring Jews from Syria to, then the British soldiers give him in a prison. But after 3 days, they pay money, and so he go out. But he say, I understand what is, and so because of this, I give an order all my secretaries. When Hoffman came, he can come in.
Jeez.
And so because of this, because I have good connection with him, and many things I can change. So this is.
Oh, it's amazing. Aaron, can I ask you, what advice would you give? What answer? Because you've lived such an incredible life, and you've done so many just amazing things what you've done through your life and you've witnessed. And what answer, what advice would you give the future generations?
I want to say you one thing that perhaps I will speak with Yitzhak Herzog also about it. I think that the way that now we bring Olim Chadashim to Israel,
it's new immigrants.
Yes, we have to change it. We have to bring kehilot, communities. Why? When a man from French came to Israel, I also know some words in French, but all the laws, all the way of thinking is a revolution. If you compare it with what is in France. So the problem is not he have money, but he can arrange himself. If you take 500 people from France, one is an engineer, one is a lawyer, one is a doctor, one is then they can their absorption. Absorption.
It's true. It's true. It's actually very what you're saying.
Yes, well, good. Be good because you know him. They know French, and so, and we are strong. We need not. In 48, we were afraid that if we give all the Jews from Yemen in one place, then it will not be unified. But today we are a strong country. We are not to be afraid. Give them a place. Take engineers from France, Jews, and so
Avram, can I mention, it worked. My brother
in
went with the Garin to Efrat.
yes,
And a lot of
the
South
Rabbi
Africans came,
Riskin,
and he brought his kehillah from New York
yes,
and from Manhattan, and it worked very, very well.
yeah, of course. If you came from all your synagogue in South Africa came with you, then all of them, it was very...
So it's mamish true. In Telstone, there's a lot of South Africans that came as a kehillah, as a group, and they unified, and it's been very successful.
Yes.
They are based in Rav Kutztag is in Telstone,
Yes.
and a lot of the kehillah that were in South Africa, they came to Telstone, and they united, and they you're right, it formed a kehillah.
Yes, because I think that philosophy without understanding the real life is problematic. And you need to unify the philosophy with the life. And this, if you
to combine, it's a
if
combination.
you ask me what is my in what I am expert, this is my expert.
Wow.
When I take a prisoner, I cannot to him and say, now you have to learn דף גמרא. You don't know, you have to see how they write. Then at first I have to go slowly. I have not to say to you today you are a thief or tomorrow you are a tzaddik. I don't believe in it. Only if it goes
gradual, very gradual.
You see, and because of this I succeed. I don't. When came to me the prisoner, then I asked him, "You have a Teudat Zehut?" You have not Teudat Zehut. Then at first, if you want that I help you, go to Misrad Apnim and bring a Teudat Zehut.
That's an ID document. Yeah.
It's a simple thing.
It's the basics. It's the basics.
But it's simple.
Yeah.
Second day, I say him, go to Bituach Leumi. According to the law, he has right to 2 months after prison to receive Bituach Leumi some שקלים.
Some money, yeah.
Yeah, some money. יום שלישי, you go to שירות התעסוקה. Bring me what work you make. So you understand? I make 50 mitzvot. Every mitzvah is higher. We have to make a greater מאמץ, greater
effort. It's an effort.
No effort. He has to give more power to change and to achieve the aims that I give before him. And then the aims are little, but if the first time are 10 centimeters, then 20 centimeters, then 30 centimeters. So, but not in one. I don't believe in it. I cannot think that a man that was 5 years in prison will be tomorrow a tzaddik. Yeah. If I say such an aim, then I am not realistic. And then many of those I hear people from the yeshivas, they come and make him tzaddik. No, after 3 months it's destroyed.
Yeah.
You cannot make. These are people. You cannot make change that is not realistic.
Yeah.
But you have to give to believe in the pupils, and if you give them a belief, you succeed.
Wow.
Of course, I came with Bnei Brit. We came to visit Akko. And in the street we go, and one Arab came and hugged me. All the people were, And also I don't remember him because I was 46, 50, then 60. And he was a young, 18, 20 years old. Then he said, "You saved my life." And he said he works and he have a family and so on. Also with the Arabs, I make a hostel in a Arab village. I call it Rabi'a Jadid, a new spring. I give you a new spring, and it succeed.
It's wonderful.
And, but you cannot succeed with thieves and robbers if you don't give them honor. Although you know they are not tzaddikim, but you cannot say, אתה פושע, don't work. And you have not to exaggerate and say you are a tzaddik. You are not a tzaddik.
Wow.
But
slowly.
Little steps towards the aim. And every year we make Lag BaOmer. All the prisoners of Israel, the ex-prisoners, came to in Pisgat Ze'ev. We have a great field and we make meduot. And when I see one is not here, I ask them, to me, no one of them make me a sheker. To the police, they laugh from the police and they don't say the police real things. But to me, they trust me and they
wonderful. Oh, Avraham, it's wonderful.
And I don't, and I the whole life of them, I say, when I know Professor Tversky was my teacher, and it from Pittsburgh, and he teach me.
Rav Avram Tversky.
Yes, you know him
very well.
Yes, from where? Yeah.
He once gave a talk for my late grandmother in Efrat. And I've read his books, and he's come to South Africa, and I've heard him speak many times here.
Then I visited him in Pittsburgh, and he helps me many great help. And I learned from him that you have to learn how to change people, and not say. When I begin my work, and the first day, then it was on the door. I give a moda'ah,
a sign or a notice.
הכניסה דרך החלון. All the workers that were MA in psychology and think this director general is unnormal. But I given near the window a place, so it was not, you have not to be a great sporter to make it. But I say it's only for the first day. Why? I want that you change your way of thinking and understand you all the people that you will meet them come from the window and not from the door. And so you have to understand, you have to change your way of thinking.
That's wonderful.
Okay.
I just want to thank you so much, Ram. I'm going to... So, Avram, it's been such a pleasure. Really, I'm so grateful for hearing your incredible story. And what really strikes out is that, Baruch Hashem, thank God, your parents had the foresight that they didn't stay in Berlin. That they decide, first of all, that your father realized that they have to take the books out of Germany. People would have thought maybe it will blow over and things will be fine and Hitler won't last and it's just a passing phase. But they had the chokhmah, understanding that they have to do something practical, and he did it, and he sent the books, and unfortunately a lot of people that gave the books didn't survive, but the book survived, and it was an amazing thing to do, to have that foresight to understand. And that he sent you with your mother, and then you came here, and your journey, how you saw, wow, that the years of the Shoah, but you were here in Israel, and you saw the rise of the state of Israel, and you fought in all the wars of this country. You are a real gibor, a real hero of Am Yisrael, and what you do for the prison services, and your whole thinking, it's revolutionary, but it succeeded. And you can see it's an amazing thing to see, your courage, and I've been very blessed to meet you today, and I'm so grateful.
Okay.
Bemet toda rabah.
And then, I will write you so you can in the Google.
Okay, thank you. For all our viewers, for all the people watching this, they can go into Google and they can see.
I give you the Shem Shela.
So I'll write it on the, and this was your Prisoner Rehabilitation Authority Philosophy and Programs.
Yes.
The Director General Avraham Hoffman. Avram, thank you so much.
In Google, I can say I write.